I've spoken to individuals of your.
God, he is absolutely useless, isn't he? Well, the thing is, we talked about how to set that up and how to raid and everything, and he still forgets. So, yeah, welcome in, everyone. Hopefully you're having a wonderful evening. As you guys know on Discord, it's a bit of a mixed one for me, but hey, let's enjoy ourselves and do some Death Guard building. So today's plan of action is to build up this guy for Heresy. And yeah, we will be building this guy up for as a siege breaker console for my Death Guard army, which you guys wanted to see me build. So let's get on with it, shall we? And hopefully, yeah, can have a bit of fun whilst doing that. If the music is too loud, let me know. Tried bumping it up a little bit. Yeah, let's have some fun. Moose, who's your top 5 sexiest Space Marines? Can I choose at what point during the timeline it is? Like, can I choose a particular point in time of when to go off, or do I have to choose like their current state at a certain point in time, or how are we working that one? Because I will answer. I know my top sexiest Primarchs are and stuff. Any point in time. Okay, well that makes it very easy. So, most attractive character is Fulgrim. but so it's not even difficult. Then it would be Lucius before he starts disfiguring himself. Then Julius Caesaron. I think you might be starting to see a theme here. You know, I kind of like Eidolon as well. And then also Verosian, all before corruption. There we go. Okay, so I saw your Discord post. Just want to say I have really enjoyed the streams and I do hope work side of things improves for you. Thanks. Yeah, today is just going to be a day of enjoying ourselves and having fun. So let's get on with that. Well, once I find my hobby knife, oh, there we go. Definitely lurking these brooding type. I'm currently losing my marbles trying to get the front of the Praetor's neck slot that I forgot existed. Oof. Yeah, that's a rough one. Okay, so recap on last time, we took the banner bearer and turned him into this consul. Well, this Praetor. And a lot of the stream we did was actually removing all the Nurgle corruption from this side of his leg, which I think I did a pretty good job with. So yeah, we'll be giving the other character a similar treatment, trying to de-Nurgle him a bit to make him more suitable for the Horus Heresy. So let's start by opening up the box and seeing what work needs doing. For those who were around earlier, hopefully you enjoyed the tutorial on how to use oil paints. If you weren't there, don't worry guys, you can always watch it back. And Anonymous says, sorry lads, I can't stay, got lots to do, see you for more questioning next stream. No worries, Anonymous. So, I think last time we'll put the artwork down just so people can see what it is I'm working on. And yeah, let's have a look at the sprue. So, one of the reasons why I picked this guy in the first place is he's pretty clean of Nurgle corruption on his main body. He's just, you know, a bit damaged, a bit decayed. There's some maggots here which we'll probably have to get rid of. But otherwise, his core body actually looks pretty much fine. And his head is also an acceptable level of corruption, because most of the corruption is actually on the arms. So we don't really need to worry too much about them. And we'll see how corrupted the backpack is. And we'll go from there. So, let's start by putting together the torso. Or maybe Soltarvit, especially if you want Emperor's Children. The book description was very heated. I don't know, it was just something about the artwork of him which puts me off a little. Yeah, what a fun question to start off the stream with. And yeah, what do you guys think of the music? Is this good, or should I switch back to more of the synthwave stuff? Oh, I also need my plastic glue. Oh, I just realised my my Discord chat, sorry, my Twitch chat isn't working, that's weird. I just need to restart something. Okay, right, I'm really sorry people on Twitch if you said anything. It didn't show as it's decided not to load. This music reminds me of Cyberpunk, and this song made me think I walked into a boss fight. Well, I mean, it should feel like that if you're ever in a game against me. Yeah, no, it was the guy who makes the music, which is Carl Casey. If anyone's interested, his YouTube channel is White Bat Audio. He does this style of music, and he also does synthwave music. And we've listened to a lot of his synthwave music. So I thought it would be interesting to try some of his other music as well. And right, what we need to do is just mix a new bottle of plastic glue, because both of these are quite low. So just pour one into the other. Get up a bit because this one's gone a bit clouded. So Wolf on Twitch says, I just finished my first Goliath Ganger build in like 20 years, and they are same scale basically imposed, funnily enough. Kind of cool actually. So if my Legion of Goliaths may be possible, yeah. Awesome. And Ghosty says, nice to see you live, bud. I went back and watched your VOD when you built the Dreadnought. It really helped. Got most of the magnetizing done. Awesome. Yeah, so hopefully this weekend, I've got a lot of Warhammer to build. So if you want to spend the weekend with me, we definitely will have plenty of stuff to do. And I'm really looking forward to it because a bunch of stuff is showing up. And yeah, I am very excited to get on with some of the projects that I have planned. So yeah, hopefully you guys are going to be around to enjoy the show with me, because yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun this weekend. I've actually been thinking of DKOSing some Death Guard into Loyalists. They have cool armor style even without the goop. Yeah, it's like one of the actual inspirations for this was, I know this is going to sound incredibly heretical, so hopefully Varrock isn't lurking, but there's this person on Twitter who's been doing a project recently to make a bunch of, in quotes, true scale Templar Brethren by dechaosing some Plague Marines and stuff, and it looked really cool. And yeah, it's like one of the things with my channel and my content is I really want to be pushing towards showing people just how accessible and fun the Horus Heresy is as a game. So with this Death Guard army, which is basically a fun project for me to basically show you guys some techniques and stuff. yeah, I thought it'd be a good idea to put my money where my mouth is and show you guys how you could use some 40k stuff in Heresy. So right now, first and obvious thing we need to do is there is this little friend tickle with a bell. So we are going to try and remove that because I don't want any mutations on these guys. As cute as this little tentacle is, but we will keep a hold of it because it is very cute. So clip that off, and now we need to trim back plastic here, trying to not destroy the trim. Just cutting into the section where the mutation was, and then we're just trying to basically carve away until we reach where the cut was. Do it from both angles. Now I know some of you have been concerned about knife safety watching me do stuff like this. It's one of the reasons why I hold my knife like this. Because if you watch where the knife goes, it won't go. It physically can't move at an angle where it would actually touch my skin with the blade. If you want to send me some Horus Heresy minis, that'll make it accessible for me. Yeah, no, unfortunately I'm not really in a position where I can start giving away minis, DD. And Gosu says he's got his Leviathan Dreadnought, 10 Iron Warrior Tyrant Siege Dummies, 10 Cat Pharacti, and an Iron Circle robot when that comes into build. Awesome. Yeah, so you got a small what's the name? A regiment there. And once I get myself into build mode, it's nice to just grind them out and get it done. Yeah, definitely. So whilst we're looking around the model for anywhere else that needs work, let's see. Right, that section away. Try and make it a bit more obvious that that's a joint there. Oh, and you guys would be really glad to know that we're almost at a point where the trying to perfectly balance Twitch will no longer be a thing. We've made some incredible progress towards getting the affiliation status, which will be awesome because that means we can have subscribers over there, so like the equivalent of YouTube members for those guys who don't use Twitch. And yeah, we are getting very close to that. Ghost says, let me know when you do your affiliate stuff. I want Sniper Founders Badge sub. Yeah. yeah, we are very close now. Especially if we keep the viewership as in the going in the direction it is. We're going to be reaching it real soon, and I'm really looking forward to it because it will enable us to do so many things. Really looking forward to it, and not just because of the money side of things. And Doyle asks, is this going to be for an apothecary? No, we are turning this guy into our Siegebreaker console. So if we do ever want to do the Creeping Death Rite of War, we have the required model for it. And Wolf says, I'm glad to hear that there's a Prime sub waiting when you do. Awesome. And yeah, I am really happy you guys are as excited as I am for it. This journey has been really incredible and fun for me, guys, and I've loved basically every minute of it. I guess not to get too soppy or emotional, but like genuinely doing this, working on this is like one of the main reasons I get up in the morning, because I'm just so excited to just think up of like what we're going to do each day and what we're going to build, what we're going to do, what stuff I can show you guys. And on the flip side, you're also the main reason why I struggle to get to bed at night, because I'm just like, oh, but I could be streaming more. I just absolutely love doing this with you guys, and you guys have made this little adventure so much fun. And hey Hollow, how are you doing? Hopefully your day's been going alright. And Wolf says, war crimes you say, a good time I say. Yeah, absolutely. I'm better now they're a Death Guard. Well, I'm glad that, yeah, me building Death Guard stuff has cheered you up. I was kind of hoping it would. Even if I am removing the Nurgle corruption from these boys. Because I'm annoyed with myself for getting that tiny piece, I'm working on my Death Guard allies for my World Eaters now at the moment. Awesome! Has anyone ever made an Necromunda gang into an army they can field for 40k or 30k? I don't think anyone here has, but what used to be recommended in the old Imperial Guard Codex, the first one I've got, was that you use the Vansar gangers as Imperial Guard conscripts. Although I reckon if you were able to find a way to reliably put lasguns on Goliaths, you could probably make a good army of catechins. And Drew said, glad you had the original Contemptor stream on my homepage. Was that for the Forge World one? Yeah, I'm still drawn. Yeah, that was a fun stream, and yeah, once we got magnets, we'll finally be able to finish that guy. Okay, so now we need to work out what arms and stuff, because this guy is probably going to be a relatively quick one. Who was it who was asking about Milliput today on the Discord server? And right, let's have a look at the backpack. Because generally speaking, if the backpacks aren't too corrupted, I prefer to use it. Especially as this one, you know, with all of its extra gadgets bolted onto the top of it, looks like it'd be quite a good fit for Siegebreaker. Now that'd be me. Awesome, Doyle. So, yeah, this guy has slightly too many pockmarks on him. And I will want to fill them in a bit with some Milliput at some point during the stream, so we'll have a quick go over how to use Milliput. It reminds me that I need to try the Milliput gap fill trick. Yeah, so awesome. So Wolf and Doyle, you'll enjoy later on this stream because we'll be doing that. And, you know, I think we can probably get away with using this one. I don't mind having the heads on there because light grenades and stuff. So, yeah, I think we'll just use this backpack outright. The only thing I think we'll have to do is some paint trickery on the skull here. Hopefully it will focus in. And we'll paint this up as cables rather than a tongue. I think that's probably the easiest way around that. And I'm curious, do you guys paint the insides of your tanks and vehicles? Just asking because the building guide for Spartan is telling me to paint before I glue shit on. No, to be honest. I've sprayed the inside of mine black because no one's really going to be looking into it. It's never going to be open to an angle in which people are really going to see the inside of it. I will probably paint the insides of the doors, you know, the doors that open up and down, because those are visible, but I don't necessarily think you need to paint the insides of the vehicle. And we need a different base because he won't be on a 50 mil. Or, I think that's 50 mil. There we go. A more suitable base for this guy. Let's glue him down. Be right back. Gonna hear that. No worries, go see. And, you know, he actually fits on the 32mm base pretty much perfectly. Yeah, I found some cool 3D prints for the interiors of rhinos. Looked really great until I realised nobody would ever see it. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm fairly sure I know which ones you're talking about, based off our discussions the other day. And yeah. You know what? Remember this piece, lads? The Corn Berserker pistol arm? I think we might end up using this one on this guy instead. It's the wrong hand. That's really annoying. But what I want to do is use this piece here. So, you know, he's looking down at the slate. Actually, that's the point. We could use a Mark II arm, couldn't we? No, I think we will be using some Corn Berserker arms on this guy. I know this is probably incredibly heretical for you guys, but we're going to hack up an old sprue of Corn Berserker pieces even more, and we are going to steal this chainsword arm here for this guy. Right, clippers. Go. Slicing turkeys and watching Tuppy, what a time to be alive. Right, just bend the corn symbol there. What we're going to do is, actually, you know, we'll use a knife for this, we'll do this properly. Is we now need to remove a hand from his Corn Berserker arm. And hey Jimmy, how are you doing? That's the Corn Berserker's arm liberated of the chainsword. No, we're going to leave a cute little skull, I think. Let's glue this arm in place. You know, I'm really enjoying saying Corn Berserker while still working on a Death Guard mini. It's almost as if it was made for this model. And I found a workaround, just pinned the head to a body in the position I wanted. Awesome. Sometimes the quick and easy workarounds are just very good workarounds. Right, so there we go. Arm attached with the data slate. I didn't even finish my contempt defeat last night. Oh. So we do need to get a nice big chunky shoulder pad for this boy. And I should still have some spare 3D printed ones. We will actually put a lot more super glue in this one than normal, and we'll basically use it as a way to fake build up the model's bulkiness. That's how old these arms are. I think that's a good position, and we'll hit it with the spray. Once I remember where I put the spray, that is. Lubricant 3D printer. Oh, there we go. Put it behind my iPad, which I'm using to monitor the stream on. There we go. Spray that, and that should stay in place. And so what we'll probably end up doing is using some milliput on the arm here to make it blend in a bit more. And we'll be using some milliput on some of these dents on his body as well. Right, now to work out what we should put on the other arm. So what I'm going to quickly double check is the rulebook, see what equipment we can actually give this guy. And if you guys in chat have any suggestions for what we should equip the character with, let me know. As, yeah, if you guys really want to see something, then we can do it. So a reminder, this guy will be sitting towards the back of the board, as he gives extra rules and abilities to units that otherwise wouldn't have them. Basically, units. A unit within 6 inches of him gains the Sunder special rule, which makes them even better at destroying vehicles and buildings. So he'll be setting towards the back with units that don't have that rule. So I'll probably be babysitting some autocannons. Doesn't the Berserker arm have a bolt pistol? Yeah, we could give him a bolt pistol. Although I think we should give this guy a bit of a better weapon. So he can take a bolter, a combi weapon, a Volkite charger, and a starter shotgun or a Nemesis bolt gun. Or he can take a Volkite Serpenter. Oh, and he can take a Serpenter, hand flamer, plasma pistol, chain axe, charnable weapon, power fist, lightning claw, thunderhammer, boarding shield, or power scythe. Yeah, so none of the weapon choices he has will be necessarily effective against vehicles. Because his downside, he is a support character, so the thing is he makes friendly units around him stronger. So yeah, realistically speaking, he's probably going to have some kind of close combat weapon. He wouldn't be likely to have any fancy delicate stuff like Volkite. Yeah, that's a fair assessment, because Mortarion doesn't like them. Yeah, that's a good shout. So he's like the Dark Apostle in a way. Yeah, kind of. So basically he gives, yeah. Well, we'll go through what he does in a second. What I'm potentially thinking with this guy is a Nemesis, so a Nemesis bolter, which is a sniper rifle, and then a war scythe, because the power scythe, because it's just kind of iconic to the Death Guard. Do you reckon a Nemesis bolter would be fitting? And hey, not applicable. Hope you're doing alright. That's the unit I'd like to have in plastic is the Scouts. Well, we already do. You can use the plastic kit from Games Workshop. It's out of date and awful, but and what are you up to this live? We are building a mini this time. And we're converting this guy from one army to another. And Tuppy, this is not the pursuit of perfection. How do you mean? And you know what I think we're going to do? Because I want this guy to have a scythe, and what we'll do with the gun is we'll basically make it shoulder strapped or something. Is we are going to take another Corn Berserker arm, and we're going to switch this one out for one holding the scythe. And who can take Nemesis bolters in Horus Heresy? Seeker squads, Scout squads, Recon squads, and characters, if I remember correctly. You know, I think this arm might be too weedy on this side. But I do want to keep the glove design. So what we might do is cut this piece up in multiple pieces and find a Mark III arm we can sacrifice. And from building the Death Guard Tactical Squad the other day, we thankfully have some spares. But well, to be honest, I think we could actually get away with just using this one outright. And give me a second. And we'll get some sights. So this is his right hand. Okay, there we go. Couple of sides of different hand poses. Let's see which one works the best. 40k plastic scouts are definitely not perfection. No. No, they're not. Well, let's see. If we give him that scythe... you know, I think this might be one where we actually go for the hand on top. Upwards like that. I think we'll go for here. And we might just trim the scythe down a little. I think that's what we'll do. So what we'll need to do is trim away some of this cape. So we'll put the knife along and cut up like that. Basically just trim away enough that's smooth with the joint where the arm goes, like so. Very nice and simple. And now I can glue the in place. And glue to the area. And what is your favourite Emperor's Children book? Is it lazy to say Fulgrim? The main Black Library book, not the Primarch one. Yeah, do that. Okay, so what we need to do. So it's kind of difficult to try and explain what I'm doing here. But what we're going to do is we are going to trim a bit of this hand off at an angle, so it will better fit onto the arm we've just glued in place. And then once we've made sure it lines up neatly, we'll trim a tiny bit off the bottom of this scythe. And yeah, we'll see how it looks. Dino says, been super bored today, had such a hype with Contemptor, so I'm glad you're streaming again. Plus, I get to see some great conversations. Yeah, no, this is why I love doing this, is just, you guys have some really interesting things you want to talk about or ask about, and I really enjoy the kind of stuff you throw at me. Even if it is weird stuff like the sexiest Space Marine characters. You degenerates. I'm not being blind, am I? They're not on for... Where did I put my clippers? Cut some pieces out. I came here, cut some pieces out. I didn't cut them on the sprue pile, did I? And that would make sense, but... I did. You know, there's an unintended consequence of having to wear these cat ears, because they are on, by the way, even if you can't see them. Is they actually make it kind of difficult to keep my headset on. So right, what we'll do is we'll trim like so, having to resort to some Warhammer clippers here. That, okay, and also as a bit of screw there as well. I'll move that. Cool. So that should fit on rather well. So the scythe extends past the base by a couple of millimeters. So we'll just trim those off. like so. Simple. And that should allow us to put the scythe basically perfectly in place. And now we'll glue that in place. My hands are now more glue than skin. I spilled super glue without realizing and put my hands in it. Be really careful because you could get some chemical burns or heat burns there. So please go and get that sorted as soon as possible. And rather you didn't have to go to hospital. So yeah, please be careful there and get that sorted as soon as you can. Put some glue on the base of this as well, just so I can make sure it actually stays in place. Spray activator for the glue. Please. Awesome. So we now have the guy looking at the tablet whilst holding his scythe. Burns from Burnsward. Yeah, but also no, please don't. Oh god, yeah, it would be an absolute nightmare trying to get into your phone. And I know it's a divine choice or Tuppy. I can't actually remember why I found it so meh. I think too much focus on remembrances for my liking. Yes and no. I quite like the focus on remembrances because it really shows how the corruption and the fall impacted the mortals as well, because it's another important thing to factor in. Glue the other shoulder pad on. This one should be a bit easier as we don't need to do any weird tinkering. Slightly upwards. Again, hit it with a spray up. The activator. There we go. And in terms of basic building, he's effectively done. He's holding the scythe, looking down at his tablet. Cinderman model when Forge World. You know, it actually would be like genuinely kind of cool to see the remembrances. But yeah, what do you guys think? Think he looks like a commanding character? yeah, so what I'm thinking next is we work on making him a Nemesis Bolter. But he's got underslung here in some variety. I might just not completely WYSIWYG this one and just leave it be, because I actually quite like how this model turned up. And what we'll also do is we'll use the plastic glue here to tidy up where I removed that tentacle. He's here to employ the most heinous weapons of war and break that siege. No, absolutely. So, let's go over rules for this boy. Okay, so... Oh, that accidentally skipped towards the Emperor's Children. Okay, so a Siegebreaker gains the Sunder and the Art of Destruction special rule. The Art of Destruction. At the start of each shooting phase, the controlling player may nominate one friendly unit with at least one model within 6 inches with this special rule. That unit gains the benefit of the Sunder special rule for the duration of the shooting phase. It's really cool. And a Legion Siegebreaker gains a Nuncio Vox, which is what we're using the speaker on top of this boy for, and 3 Phosphex bombs, what we'll optimistically use the Severed Head as. In addition, any Legion Rapier carriers with quad launchers in the same detachment may be upgraded to have Phosphex canister shot per model, and any Legion Arcata Bombards with Morbus Bombards in the same detachment may be upgraded with Phosphex shells for 20 points per model. And thanks for a donation, Lord Nelson. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, it really helps, and it really means a lot, guys, if you donate. So yeah, thank you so much, Lord Nelson. Oh god, wait, that means oh yeah, thank you so much for that, and yeah, there you go. Another stream added to ones I have to do with Cat Ears on. So yeah, that's our boy done for now. What we will do now is we'll talk Milliput and how to use Milliput. Because also I was thinking with the other boy we made, we need to do some Milliput to pick some of the more obnoxious gaps of how he's posed. So there's a gap underneath his arm here, we need to fix that in. And some of these marks on his legs and stuff, it's kind of difficult to show, are comically big, so I want to patch some of those in as well. So let's do some Milliput stuff. which we'll do once I remember where I put mini putt. So there's one part, and there's the other part. There we go. So with mini putt, you get in a 2-part epoxy, pretty much exactly like how you get green stuff. Just yeah, give me a second. One part is grey. And the other part is yellow. Now it's quite crumbly. Let's start off with. Yeah. You need to just really mix it together. As gross as it is, wetting your fingers with spit or water works really well. Yeah, there we go. And what would you recommend as a sculpting tool? Good question. Anything really. And a donation from D'Artagnan. Thank you so much. Yeah, it really helps out a lot. Yeah, thanks for that. Oh, right, time to update the cat ears. I am just starting to regret this just a bit because yeah. Oh god, I now have to move it over. You guys happy with yourselves? Okay, so sculpting tools. That was a thing before the wonderful donation there. One of the ones I use is the Citadel sculpting tools. So this is one of the older metal ones. I quite like using that one, but I also use the plastic ones from Citadel as well. And I'll often use the back edge of a knife, paintbrushes, old needles from old plastic glues, all sorts of stuff. There isn't really a particular tool which is good. So, right. How best to do this? We will tack him onto a handle of some sort. So I blue tacked him onto a paint pot. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a bit off of the milliput we just mixed. And well, that looks like it might be a bit too much even. Split that in half. And put that onto the area in which we want to fill in. That's probably going to stick to me a bit more than it is for model at the moment, which is fine. So we've pressed it on. Doesn't look too amazing right now. What we're going to do is we'll probably use the plastic tool here. And we'll wet it in our paint water. Just so it's a bit glossy. And we'll now just press it into the model. And just keep working at it. Making sure not to allow the side edges to brush into the hole we're trying to fill. And yeah, just keep putting the waste milliput onto the ball we made, so not to waste it. And we'll actually switch to the smaller side of this. Start breaking away some of the milliput we put on. Down into the model. And remove any extra areas into a milliput. I'm assuming varnishing doubles down by preventing you from reacting with milliput. No, once it dries, it's dried. And are the silicone sculpting tools any good? To be honest, I haven't really used any silicone sculpting tools. But a lot of people recommend them and say they're good. At the end of the day, I think it's more of you need to work out what's good for you. I know there are people out there who really don't like these Citadel ones, and others that really like them. But yeah, right now I'm using the side of this tool to kind of scratch away over the area we're filling in, just so we remove any of the excess from above it and around it. And as you can see, we're starting to see where the hole we filled in is, like so. And hey Bloker, we are back to working on denurgling Death Guard minis. And at the moment doing a tutorial on milliput. A bit away. So yeah, as you can see from the yellow spots, we have filled in those holes, and it looks quite smooth. that's a very, very basic on how to use Milliput, and what we'll do is we'll leave that for a little bit, and yeah, we'll come back to it in a few hours and it'll be dry and we can sand it. And so PS got streak and grime. What do I thin it with? Help. Streak odorless thinner, as Hamish said. So I personally use this stuff from AK Interactive. If you are concerned about the politics of AK, which we won't really go into, MiG, Ammo by MiG sell an identical product as well, so you can use that. If you don't have that and you're really eager to get on with it, you can also use white spirit as well. Just remember, white spirit smells disgusting and you probably want to avoid it. It also is dangerous to inhale. So we'll carry on filling in these holes. So. Let our tool start smoothing it into place. So coat the whole model for Grimduck Sons of Horus, then clear of cotton bud. Yeah, so it depends how grimy and dirty you want it to be. But especially if you're starting out and just getting used to it, I'd probably recommend spray the entire model with some gloss varnish first. The more matte the surface, the more the enamel or oil wash will stick to it. Ingo says, alrighty, I'm back, got the solid black coat on the inside of Spartan, awesome. Welcome back. Alright, and now for first bit for the sculpting. So there is a massive pockmark on his knee. What I'm going to do is grab a small amount. Put it into the hole. Okay, so trying to restore the shape of this knee pad. We'll start brushing it into a shape we want it to be. Sure to get any of the excess. Doing is running the flat of our tool along either side of this as it has a ridge to it. Then that will follow the defined curb. Wait. Using the edge of it to push away any mini putt we don't need. And we'll keep going at this, repeating over and over, so again, pull along the flat side, generate a curb, and doing the same on the other side. Not pushing too hard, enough that it starts to generate a point. And to be honest, I think that's already good enough. It's not super refined. Hopefully the webcam will pick up on that. Is we'll just sand it down once it's dry. So let's work on the most egregious part, which is the wrist. Again, get a lump of milliput. Side of the tool to put some more pressure on and manipulate it more into those gaps. Right, there's a little bit more. Good. Using our tool. Actually trying to follow where we think it should be. Oh yeah, now we've established a shape, we can leave it for a few moments and we can then work on adding some textures and stuff. So as that's a rest, we need to do the bands of the power glove. And also, would you mind linking the music, please? Of course. So the music we are listening to is this playlist here. And this is the Dark Synth Cyberpunk Industrial Mix by Carl Casey and his YouTube channel White Bat Audio. And yeah, he does all of the synthwave music we've been listening to on stream and this more industrial electronic music as well. So yeah, what's everyone else working on at the moment? And Ghosty says, alright, going to run to the store to get some more primer, be right back in an hour or so. No worries, Ghosty. Hopefully it's nice and dry for you. Working on a cup of tea at the moment, nice. And not gonna read what NA said. And Hamish is working on a contemptor. I think I have too many. Is that a thing? Are you able to have too many? I wasn't aware that was possible. Bloker is lead belching all metal areas and 40 beacon marines before applying a first known oil wash. Nice. And Hollow is painting. Lovely. Is there anything else we really need to work on this whilst we've... I suppose actually we could do with putting a little more... Yeah. Well, that isn't quite perfect. again, like before, just running the tool along the area we've just applied the mini part 2 and just swing a bit in and complete the shape and fill in the gap. Doe is heading out tomorrow to pick up Milliput and maybe some Volupus Pink. And O'Connor just realised he's 5 minutes behind. Well, well done on catching up. You really missed too much. And yeah, Milliput is a really interesting and useful tool for sculpting. I genuinely just outright prefer it to green stuff. I'll only use green stuff for filling in really bad gaps on stuff which I think need some additional strength, because green stuff does tend to hold things together a bit better than Milliput does. But if you're just filling in gaps on models and stuff like we're doing here, then Milliput is more than good enough. It's only if you're really expecting there to be any like strain or pressure on that I'd consider green stuff. But for any like sculpting or finer detail, I will always go Milliput. As yeah, you can thin it down. You can actually make a wash out of it with water if you really wanted to. But once it dries solid, and it is waterproof then. And it is fantastic stuff. It also means if you have a sacrificial brush you can actually brush away Milliput from the excessive areas with a rough brush. And yeah, long live Mick Gordon, chosen of Korn and Doom Guy. The Cornate Noise Marine, yes. He's basically become an unofficial mascot of the channel, hasn't he, at this point? And yeah, I suppose that may be a fact you guys don't know, but Milliput is one of the main tools which Games Workshop used to use for sculpting all of their minis back in the day before computer-aided design. And there's multiple images, if you look back, of the Perry twins, the guys who used to do all of the models and stuff for Games Workshop, using Milliput to design a bunch of models, especially the Lord of the Rings minis. You know, we'll be needlessly pedantic here, and we'll actually try and use some green stuff here to fill in the mold line on its head. So that can be done. What I'm doing is brushing the Milliput in and around, using the side of the tool to tidy it up after we put it in place. Like a bit gross, but hey. It does the job. Okay, so to be honest, looking at it, I think we could probably actually spare the detail on his leg. I think we can just go use oil washes and stuff to make that look interesting. We'll leave him be. This guy, I think the milliput's still going to be a bit too soft. Bit too soft still to do any of the next steps, which is fine. Yeah, we can talk for a bit. But yeah, hopefully you guys are having wonderful days. Tomorrow is going to be an interesting for me if you read my post on the Discord server. So yeah, see how that goes. And NA says, heading out to smoke, have fun. Yeah, you too, enjoy yourself, and yeah, I'll catch you later. And yeah, so I suppose we can talk about weekend. And yeah, I wanted to get your opinions on stuff, guys. So I've bought a Vindicator for the Death Guard army. So how things are shaping up, we'll have these two consoles, a tactical squad, a heavy weapons team. I think it was Grave Wardens, wasn't it? We'll have some Grave Wardens. We'll have a Contemptor. I have some other stuff we could potentially throw in. Yeah, and these two consoles, I think I may have already said that already, but yeah. A question with the Vindicator. How messed up should I make it, and or how realistic should I make it? What would you guys like to see me do with it? And also a reminder where my true loyalties are. the Vindicator. So Bono says gritty but not worn down into disrepair. Yep, can do that. And where did I get the mug? I got that mug at Warhammer Fest 2018. There was a stand selling some merchandise, which is where I picked up my Red Scorpions and my Horus Heresy t-shirt, as well as that mug. And yeah, it's a 40k Vindicator. I really don't like the look of the Forge World ones. And yeah, the 40k Vindicator was around during the Horus Heresy. There's also, I don't understand how you could ever want a Vindicator without the massive plow on the front. It's just too iconic to the design of the model. Yeah, I think with just the giant dozer blade, it's just too important and too iconic. Oh, also, Hollow, I have a question for you, if you're still around. If it's mentioned at all, what is the colour of the mud on Barbarous? White soil, grey mud, black stone. Okay, cool. That'll be a lot of fun then. And I agree with the roughed up but still functional approach to a Vindicator. I'd like to see some weathering on that dozer. Oh, we'll do plenty of weathering. And I agree to use the Forge World rules for a Vindicator. Well, this is for the Horus Heresy Wolf, so there's only one set of rules for a Vindicator. And Doyle on YouTube says, "Hi Hollow," from YouTube. Tuppy told me a while ago to ask your opinions on Mortarion's character in the novels. And yeah, following on from that, what books would you recommend for people to read getting into the Death Guard? So, Hollow says to avoid a tea rant. Since I have no tea, Black Library writes him hyper inconsistently. So for those of you guys who don't know, a tea rant is basically Yeah, when I'm particularly aggressive or like passionately annoyed about something to rant about it, I'll normally have to go and make myself a cup of tea to drink whilst ranting about it. And yeah, whilst we're waiting on Hollow to give us an opinion on what books, how do you guys feel about the idea of me putting stowage on the Vindicator? You know, like tarpaulings and stuff. Like if we're going like proper realistic. So Hollow recommends for Pale King, Verdict of the Scythe, an amount of the Buried Dagger, the book Grandfather's Gift, Excitosis, and Echoes of Old Night. But it also says the last two are more of a typhus show. Yeah, I have a couple of kits of stowage in Warhammer scale of things like this. So we could put some tarps and boxes and crates on models. Hollow says, give us the gubbins. And Lupercat says, stowage for chemical munitions and rod bombs seems sensible. And it says, it's a shame about Mortarian's character if that is the case. In my canon, at least he's awesome. And stowage should be pretty unique. Cool. So that's something we will experiment with, because I have lots of this stuff and also a bunch of Imperial Guard stuff as well from my years of collecting Guard. So yeah, we'll have some fun with adding stuff to a model. Wolf says, I read a good short story of Morty saving some farmers on Barbarous, I believe. Then recruiting him as saving some farmer on Barbarous, I believe. Then recruiting him into a Death Guard. It was pretty good, but it made you think like he was recruited into an army and given strength, and they talk about how recruits slowly warp into Death Guard. And Hollow also then says, I managed to keep him solidly a second favourite Primarch despite how out of character he is between some books, so he's fun regardless. Rescuing Farmer would be unification. And Hollow says, it's Vork's backstory and is a prelude for Lords of Silence. Read it too, but it contradicts a lot of lore about Barbarous. So one of the things I just find really weird about Mortarion is how he kind of flips around to suddenly wanting to, you know, murder Horus and be War Master and stuff. It's just a bit weird. He just suddenly flips around to, you know, wanting to take such a leading and commanding role, kind of out of nowhere. And Hollow is now having a meltdown over it, because it comes out of nowhere. And Doyle just says, I've just realised an old sold action figure set I had literally copied a bolt gun. Yeah? It'd be interesting to see some pics of that, Doyle, if you can take any. Oh yeah, I think it's time we start working back on this. Just give me a second. And what are you saying sorry for? You don't think there's any reason for you to be sorry? Right, so one of the reasons why I keep these little needles around. So here, where the rest is, we kind of need to put all of those bands back in. So one of the ways you can do it is by pressing this needle in at intervals to make the ridges. Define them. Don't have it anymore, sadly, but it looked like Phobos pattern with a larger magazine, funnily enough, like the one of the Plague Marine models. That's interesting, and I'm sorry for starting the Mortarion rant. It's alright. Well, speaking for myself, that is. I think Rollo enjoys talking about Mortarion, so... Spelt into all again to run into the bands. Is it's working? Let us feast on Nurgle's garden. Hollow says, I'd like to believe it was Mortarion just saying that to appeal to Jaggy because he thought that's what he wanted to hear. Much more likely, based on Saturnine, he just doesn't care about being consistent. Huge shame. And Hamish says, did Morty really want to overthrow Horus, or is that just from his discussion of Magnus at Prospero? I got the vibe he said that to appeal to Jagatai and his warlord nature. Yeah, so it looks like you two both agree with that. And Hamish says, meanwhile, I'll just pour fuel on the fire. And Wolf says, I did really like the argument the Primarchs had about who would win in a fight. Morty had a good point. Oh yeah, what I've done there is I stabbed in the banding on the wrist, and then I've just smoothed it over gently with the flat of the tool, as it's now harder and a lot less malleable. All it really did was smooth it out more. You know, I actually quite like this mix of music. And the artwork is of a guy in hazmat stuff walking through a radioactive area with green glowing eyes, which I think is really fitting for us talking and working on Death Guard stuff. Dora says, maybe a nicer topic about Mortarion. Which Primarch was he closest to? I'm assuming Horus? Actually, that's a good question. What Primarch was he closest to? I would probably say Horus as well. He says, I mean, I can relate to Mortarion on that point. The Emperor is a filthy, kill-stealing tyrant. And Hollow says Horus by a mile. And Wolf asks, what's Hollow's opinion on if Morty wanted to become Emperor? I think he did, personally. That's an interesting one, Wolf. And Hollow says, I don't think he did. There's a part of the Buried Dagger where he and Typhus discuss politics with a kind of grim resignation. And the Liber Hereticus says Night Lords and Death Guard were bonded allies. Actually, yeah, who does it say are best buddies? That's a good that would be a pretty good indicator, wouldn't it? He ran a tight ship with Safehold, but I don't think he really wanted to be a tyrant. It is always just logistical, not about power or influence. That's why the cult of personality formed around him. And Doyle says Morty would never become a tyrant lord or a psyker. Oh. Right, Death Guard. So yeah, oh no, the only people the Death Guard are sworn brothers with are the Sons of Horus. They are fellow warriors with World Eaters, Iron Hands, Blood Angels, Night Lords, Iron Warriors, and Emperor's Children. And Horus was the first one to greet him when he was found. And Hollow also says for you, Doyle, to read Lantern's Light. And yeah, Hollow says he got gaslit and threatened by the Emperor, then Horus whisked him away and was his usual weapons grade charismatic self. Hey, and some progress on our World Eater Noise Marine in the Discord server in the Work in Progress minis. Where else should I paint blue? You know what, let's bring it up on stream for a second. and have a look. Because yeah, the one thing worse than watching paint dry, watching modelling putty dry. Doyle says, I think this channel is secretly propaganda to make me more traitor than loyalist. No comment. But yeah. My favourite legions are almost all the traitor legions and some loyalists. So yeah, I suppose that is probably the effect. Gonna have, and I just realised I can do something very, very satisfying. Haha, because we're going to our live. Look, got the cat ears on, and the green screen's in place. Okay, so let's just have a quick look. And Wolf says, I think he saw the traitor he aligned himself with fools and thought, I need to seize control in order to stop the tyrants having an effect on me, just as the Emperor did and now Horus. That's an interesting take. So the question we've been posed, lads, is where else should be blue? The eye lenses are going to be redone. And I'm kind of tempted to say blue guitar, but I think I might overpower the model a bit too much. But I'm also really shocked and impressed with how well those arms work on that Praetor. I think that goes together really well. I think it's just such a fun kit bash. I really like it. And Henlo Phasmatodius, hopefully you're having a really good evening. I am, and yeah. So just trying to work out what we should do with this mini. So we've been asked where else should we put blue on this World Eater. Oh, other than just the shoulders, the eyes are going to be repainted. What colours are you going to be repainting the eyes, by the way? Oh, it's not letting me scroll back far enough to... I think we should change. Oh, yeah. So I can't remember what your YouTube name is. So this is Primus Harag on the Discord server, is asking us where we should paint blue on this World Eater. Trying to think now. Maybe this bolter casing here. However, bolt gun is attached to the guitar. Maybe that could be painted blue. The tabard could be potentially painted blue instead. Hollow suggests maybe the crest. hold on a second. I've got an idea. Let's consult the rulebook. See if it has any suggestions for us. Because in the book, it has suggestions for how you paint with different colour schemes. Let's see if it gives us any insight into the World Eaters. So the backpack could be painted blue. Looking at, for example, Mark II Marine in the book. Not sure how well this will show on stream. But the backpack area directly behind his head is blue. And No Mercy Mike says, sorry for not hanging out too long tonight, but I need to get some sleep. I've been up since 2 AM Eastern Time, and I have work at 3 AM Eastern Time tomorrow. I've got you on YouTube and here though, so hopefully that will help. Hope everyone has a wonderful night. And yeah, you too. Get some sleep. And yeah, remember to look after yourself, guys. Your health is significantly more important than the success of these streams. And Fazatoji says, I've worked more on my armor today than in the last years combined. Awesome. And yeah, going off the reference images in the book, it's going to be very difficult to show with a green screen active, but the backpack for these Mark VI Marines is painted blue. So if you're here, that's what you should probably be doing. Although I haven't seen you say anything since we started looking at your mini, so I'm not sure if you are here. In which case, guys, if you have any opinions and feedback, this mini was posted in the Work in Progress Minis channel in the Horus Heresy category on my server. So if you want to give some feedback and advice to this guy on how to add some blue to this mini, leave it over there. So yeah, whilst we're at the computer and whilst we're looking at stuff, does anyone have anything they want us to talk about and give some opinions on in the Discord server? And yeah, if you aren't already in the Discord server, remember to put !Discord into chat and it will give you a link for you to join in. How do I keep falling behind on the stream? Also, I'm Primus. Well, welcome back. So yeah, As I was saying, the backpack is painted blue and the reference artwork, and Phasmatodius suggested maybe painting some blue on the helmet as well. The tabard at the bottom here could be painted blue on the inside of it if you're feeling confident. And maybe some blue on the guitar, maybe the flames could be blue or something. Just some ideas. Maybe not do all of those ideas, otherwise you might end up accidentally making an ultramarine cornate noise marine, which would be one hell of a combo. But I'm not sure if it's one you are wanting to go for. And yeah, are you going to use jump packs in your Emperor's Children? Absolutely. My Emperor's Children are all very, very focused on melee. So yeah. And we got some things in the mail today. Remember the decals we needed for the Imperial Knight? They've arrived and they look really, really good. So we got our litanies. We got our hazard stripes. They're a little bit too smaller than I thought they'd be, but we'll find ways to work those on. And we also have the lion crests as well. So we have gold ones and white ones. So we'll be able to get to work on the Imperial Knight soon as well. So that, yeah, we've got so much stuff lined up for streams at the moment. I'm really looking forward to it all. They came with this lovely little black envelope as well, which is quite nice. And Mighty Brush also send you a guide on how to put together, well, how to apply decals to your minis as well, which is quite nice. My phone is about to lose power later, so I'll update pictures on the Discord later. No worries. Have a good evening. And yeah, we'll catch you later, Connor. Just put the book down. And honestly, I've been talking a bit too much today, so I'm just going to go and quickly grab a drink. And yeah, then I'll be right back. So don't go anywhere. I will be back, and no shenanigans in chat, okay? Hamish. That looks like you were trying to cause some shenanigans in chat. Come on here. This isn't a Varak stream. There's no scam masters to rebel against here. No tyrants. But yeah, what have people been working on then? Have you got any updates or some work in progress stuff you want to go through? And Hamish says, there is no evidence. I don't know, it quite clearly says there, let the shenanigans commence, which to me sounds like you're trying to encourage shenanigans to happen. So, Got my eyes on you. Yeah, it's like I don't really have much to show off in terms of our minis or works in progress because, well, we've been streaming it all. So yeah, if you guys want to show off some stuff, now would be a great time to post some updates. So Wolf says, done my Goliath, now I am working on a Necron boss guy of some kind. Awesome. Everyone needs to have Necrons. Necrons are just like a required army. If you're interested in 40k, you should collect Necrons. So for a small fee, I am willing to testify or provide an alibi. This is a scam-free area, DB. No scams allowed. Okay, that's rather amusing. So, in Streamlabs, which you guys can't see, which is off over here. Well, there, I suppose. There is, yeah, I can see chat here next to a replay of what you guys are seeing, and I've never seen there be a scroll bar side to side before, but just because of how wide poor Master Hamish Lupercat's name is, it's now I've now seen it. Wolf says, of all the factions other than Imperium, Necrons have sparked my interest most. The Kill Team versus Guard, I think, might be a must-have. Yeah, I think it's going to be a must-have for a lot of people. And Hamish says, sorry, the Lupercat says, you say scams, I say morally questionable business practices. I mean, scams are a morally questionable business practice. I think just saying morally questionable business practice broadens the terms a bit too much there. Oh, right, I'm going to assume you guys don't really have much more to go off. And Phasmatody says, Emperor's children above everything else. Yeah, I can't argue with that logic. The Emperor's children are the best legion. Even if we are working on Death Guard at the moment, the Emperor's children are still best. update myself on Discord. Wow, there's a lot of stuff here. Okay. Yeah, so no 40k stuff at the moment, only other crafting stuff. Yeah, that's fair. I don't have anything accessible. You can visualize my battleship grey. 2 Sakarans, 3 Leviathans, 2 Contemptors, and 1 Prime Kratos. Awesome. I really want to buy a Kratos, but I'm really not sure what Legion I'd put it in. Because Death Guard, we already have a Vindicator. The Emperor's Children could be fun, but I don't really see it getting much benefit out of it. And the next 2 legions we'll be World Eaters and Sons of Horus, so I might do a Kratos for one of those legions. Yeah, if no one really has anything else to show, let's get back to hobbying. Need to move the green screen out of the way. There we go. And Hamish says, I got one as it looks pretty cool. It's like a Sakaran on steroids. Yeah. When I first saw it, I genuinely thought it was just a Sakaran with extra bits sticking out of it. But then in the game in which I humiliated Valrak to a point where he refuses to acknowledge he got humiliated, it's significantly bigger than a Sakaran. And it's awesome. And yeah. And Wolf says, I was thinking of getting a Kratos as well, great looking tank. Would you say get 2 or 1? It depends on the size of games you're playing, on how much you're willing to put into tanks in your army. So let's have a quick discussion about points and effectiveness. So, reasons to consider a Kratos is it is a heavy support choice. And no worries, right. Yeah, let's do some discussions about rules. So, how it works is for your primary detachment, you have to have a minimum of a singular HQ choice and 2 troop choices. Those troop choices cannot have the support squad special rule, so you can't take a special weapons team, for example, as one of your only 2 troop choices. Which leaves you with, I think, breacher squads, tactical squads, assault squads, and despoiler squads. However, you can have up to 3 HQ choices, and you can have up to 6 troop choices. And in an army, you can have up to 4 elite choices, up to 3 fast attack choices, up to 3 heavy support choices, a fortification, and a Primarch. Now that forms your core detachment, so a bare minimum of 1 HQ, 2 troop choices, but you can have up to the amount of all the other options. And you may also have a Lord of War, but you have to remember that a Lord of War and Primarch combined in points cannot total more than a quarter of your army, and neither can be taken in a game of less than 2,000 points, even if you theoretically can. And you may also take allied detachments as well, so these are small detachments bolted on, which is what we're doing with the Death Guard here. The Death Guard are going to be an allied detachment to my Emperor's Children. They form part of the same army, but they count as a separate force. And in the allied detachment, I have to have at least one HQ choice, which will be this boy, and one tactical squad. These boys, if you remember from the stream the other day that we started working on. So that's the minimum, then I can have as much as I want on top within the points, within the amount. So at most you can have 4 different elite choices, 3 fast attack choices, 3 heavy support choices. Oh, and 6 troops, and so yeah. And with the elite choice, with the allied detachment, you have to have a HQ choice and a troop choice. And you can bring up to 4 troop choices, 2 elites, 1 fast attack and 1 heavy support. You cannot bring an allied detachment with a Primarch in it. You can only have 1 Primarch per army. Okay, so hopefully that clears it up, Wolf. And also it should be noted you can have as many allied detachments as you want. So for example, once my planned army is built, I'll have a primary detachment of Emperor's Children, an allied detachment of Death Guard, an allied detachment of World Eaters, and an allied detachment of Sons of Horus. It's just occurred to me we never actually finished this model, as we still need to find something to put here to attach this tube to. And yeah, that's why I was wondering if it's best to fill up the heavy and elite slots with a full talent saved on slots. Yes and no. So there are some downsides to running talons, as depending on how the unit works, the wounds could spill over. And yes, you can take multiple allied detachments. all of the optional detachments you can have as many of, or as little of. Yeah, I had to speak with someone from Games Workshop to get some clarification on that, because you can do some very silly things, and what I was kind of hoping to do for Valfest was, if we were playing 3,000 point games, is bring my Warhound Titan, and have that as the allied Lord of War attachment to my Imperial Knights. So I'd have a core army of Imperial Knights with the Warhound as my allied. But you could also do silly things as well. So like a fully legal army within points would be to have a primary detachment of Emperor's Children with allies of Death Guard, World Eaters, and Sons of Horus, as well as an allied detachment of Adeptus Mechanicum. Sorry, not Adeptus Mechanicum, just Mechanicum. An allied detachment of Imperial Knights, and a Titan Legion. You could just run one of every Legion in optional detachments on top of your primary detachment. Yeah, my favourite silly thing at the moment is just the idea that you could run an army of nothing but Imperial Knights and a Titan. And considering a 3k game is a regular sized game, that's quite funny to me. And fully permissible. And hey Herm, how you doing? Yes, it is a very smelly heretical stream. Speaking of smelly and heretical stuff, let's see if there's anything on these sprues we can utilise here for padding out V1 Guardsman, not Guardsman, Death Guard. It is so you can use a Lord for almost like 700 points. And yeah, sounds absolutely amazing, so I could run all my favourite legions together, points permitting. Yes, asterisks. So there is another layer to this, and that is the allied matrix, as there are certain rules and conditions for running certain armies together. Let's have a quick look to find an example. But like, you know, you wouldn't run Space Wolves and Thousand Suns together. If you do so, then they'll actively be a detriment to one another. I mean, having Space Wolves in your army is always a detriment to yourself, but you get the point. So, for the armies which I'm running, almost all of them are Sworn Brothers or Fellow Warriors. So Sworn Brothers means that for both legions treat each other as equals. And Hollow says, I'm summoned to be back in 20 minutes or so. No worries, Hollow. Look forward to seeing you back. And yeah, probably still be streaming. Still got more stuff to work on. So yeah, if the two legions are considered Sworn Brothers, they treat each other as friendly, and characters from one legion can join the other's units and stuff. With the exception of allies cannot get in each other's vehicles. As you need to have the correct Legionia Astartes brackets legion to get in the vehicle. If you count as fellow warriors, which most legions do towards each other, you count as friendly to each other. There's no drawbacks, but you cannot join each other's armies. Distrusted allies means that you count as friendly, but for people in the allied detachment, the optional one do not count as scoring units, meaning that they can't take objectives or count for points towards positive victory points. And the final one is by the Emperor or the War Master's command, in which case the two forces will only ever fight beside each other in the direst of circumstances, or by the direct command of their overlord, be they the Emperor or the War Master. The two forces are dealt with as distrusted allies, but in addition, whenever a unit is within 6 inches of a unit that is part of a faction that falls under this level of alliance, then both units reduce their leadership by 1 until they are no longer within 6 inches of a unit from that faction. So, yeah. To use the Space Wolves as an example, they are distrusted allies with the Dark Angels. Sorry, they are by the Emperor War Master's command with the Dark Angels and the Thousand Suns. So they are actively detrimental to one another if you try and run them alongside each other. With the 4 legions I want to collect forces of, they are all fellow brothers or sworn brothers, so I don't have that issue. I'm gonna put the sanding sponge. Oh, it's right there. No, don't need to use my hair for sanding. And what we're going to do now is the milliput is basically dried. And now start trying to basically polish it away using the sanding sponge. And this will just help us smooth out the areas and get rid of any of the excess milliput that we may have got on the surface of the mini. In previous editions, if you had come the Apocalypse, as it used to be called, or by the War Master or Emperor's command, you'd have to pass a leadership check if you got within a certain range of models from that detachment, and if you failed then you wouldn't be able to do anything, and you'd just be kind of stuck there because you're just too busy hating on the enemy force to, well, not enemy, your rival or allied force to function properly. Just noticed we left a bit of a mess on this guy's hand, so whilst we're tidying up this model, we're just going to use our knife to tidy up his hand. Yeah. What we can also do is, because again it's sanding paper, it runs really smoothly, is we can start to sand where the staff is. It's kind of irritating because Blood Angels, Space Wolves and Dark Angels are my favourite legions, but they don't match very well. Well, Dark Angels don't have any friends, really. Well, yes and no. If you want to run Dark Angels and Space Wolves together, you just throw them on opposite sides of the board and just hope that you don't get into a situation where they have to get close to one another. The Dark Angels are they will work. Dark Angels will work normally with the Emperor's Children, Iron Warriors, White Scars, Imperial Fists, Blood Angels, Iron Hands, Ultramarines, Death Guard, Thousand Sons, Sons of Horus, Word Bearers, Raven Guard, and the Mechanical Imperial Army, and they will happily join and work alongside Astartes of the Salamanders as Sworn Brothers. And you'll find most legions work really well with any other legion. Just remember as well, you have to be either loyalists or traitors, and every legion can be loyalists or traitors. Regardless of what Imperial Fist or Ultramarines or Dark Angel fans will tell you, there were traitors from their legions as well. And it would have made for a really spicy and interesting story if we had like a reversed Antioch, where we had a story about some Imperial Fists defecting to side with the War Master and standing alongside the Iron Warriors. Hamish says, we do, that's Varroc's backstory. You remember when their colour scheme was basically just Iron Warriors with gold and bronze arms for the Reclaimers of Dawn? So I can't be the only one who remembers that period of their lore, right? Right. Let's stop getting distracted and try and find something to attach that tube to. You guys have any ideas from stuff you probably find on a Space Marine sprue? Let me know, because chances are I'll probably have that sprue on that bit. And chunks of contemptor gluing. We'll piece him together. Tomorrow I need to think up a pose. Well, what kind of poses have you got so far? And I think I found something, by the way. This is a melter bomb. Top off the handle. And just glue it on as a piece there. Something like that. I have one striding forward and two very static Betrayal at Cal style ones. Well, could always do, yeah, that works actually. I was going to suggest if you wanted a bit more of a dynamically posed one, you could always do, words. The opposite foot leading forward, striding forwards. That's got too hard. That's a shame. All Necrons tool just built a Royal Warden and its scale's not bad. Yeah, Necrons are quite tall. The race of Necrons is naturally like 7 or 8 foot tall, so yeah. And also Necrons tend to lean to a similar thing as humans do with, you know, the bigger you are, the more important you are as well. So having Necron Primaris Lieutenant is a taller boy. Right, let's mix together a bit more. Milliput, a second. I was actually thinking about it. I did use the tilted toe on the other foot for this one, so maybe it will also be striding. Yeah. Okay, so mixed up a bit more milliput because I want to find a way to mold the melter bomb thing we just put onto this guy in a bit naturally, so I'm gonna just roll a tube of milliput between my fingers, and what I'm thinking of doing is actually rolling a bit more. Use my hand to roll it thinner. I'm hoping to smash out a Spartan before weekend as well. Then pausing on plastic, get the big fella built in chunks for painting. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how you get on with the Warbringer. And also, Hamish, I'd love to have a game against you at some point. It would be a lot of fun. Put this really thin bit of milliput there. Grab a sculpting tool. Nice. So I'm just gonna squeeze it onto top. Squeeze it down. Carefully and loop this around this other tube. And Hamish says, I'd like that as I haven't played the new edition yet at all. Well, we definitely need to fix that, especially if you're going to want to be playing some games at Valfest as well. I'm assuming you're probably going to want to play some Heresy with the rest of us. Bit from the rest of the sausage tube thing we rolled. You need to have that. Right, let's apply this. Please. I'm trying to line it up with where did that land? Spy it. And Hamish says, definitely want to play on the Heresy table, hoping there'll be some allowance for Heresy Titans, but not too optimistic based on discussions around the subject. Yeah, so probably not, as, well, there'll be the big table with Popeye's Titans and stuff. Yeah, your Warbringer would be definitely welcome. I don't think anyone's going to have any objections to you taking your... yeah, but, well, Legio Lupercat taking on Legio Popeye. And this here, whilst I know it's very difficult to see what I'm doing because of just how thin and fiddly it is, it's one of the situations where I'd consider using the little metal needle from a plastic glue kit. Once I find where I put it. And Lupercat would obviously win. I don't know. The Legio Popeye is very big. And there's a reason why I'm kind of tempted to just not commit my Knight household to that fight, and instead run them on the Horus Heresy table. Especially as I've been kind of forgotten in that ridiculous arms race. So, yeah. So the issue is, with bringing Titans in the Heresy table, is the plan is to play a 2,000 point game, and it needs to be a minimum of 3,000 points for us to wedge a Warhound into our lists. Which is a shame, because that's what I wanted to do. Well, this is awkward, I really can't find it. Could my list just be the Warbringer? 2k points on the nose? Well, let's check. I'm going to say probably not. Okay. Here's the book. Liber Mechanicum. Let's have a look at the Divisio Titanica. Divisio Titanica for Titan Legions, a military formation developed in parallel to the Skitarii Legions of Mars, who were lost in ancient days long before the Imperium was founded. The Secutarii were created as the honor guard and protectors of Titan Legions. Whilst the power of the Titans is absolute upon the battlefield, their sheer scale and prominence leads to certain vulnerabilities and the needs the Secutarii are designed to meet. The foremost of these is close protection and defense, not against war machines and the serried legions of an enemy. The Titans themselves are more than capable of eradicating such foes, but from covert assault, infiltration, and ambuscade. For beset suddenly and at close range by swarms of well-armed infantry, even a Titan can fall, as a mighty beast might be felled by venomous insects. Just as the apocalyptic conflict of the Horus Heresy sundered the might of the Space Marine legions, so did the Legio Titanicus, splitting the Legio's allegiance between the traitors and the loyalists in fratricidal bloodshed. And with them the Secutarii fought and died on both sides of war, faultlessly loyal to the god engines alongside which they had long served. The first way to include the units from the Divisio Titanica, the Titan Legions, is in an army is to select a single Lords of War from the unit entries on pages 69-72 to fill a Lord of War optional detachment in a Crusade organisation chart. So in the first way you cannot. The second way is to include units from Divisio Titanica, the Titan Legions, in an army is to use the Titan Maniple Detachment. The Titan Maniple Detachment may be included as an optional detachment in any army that uses the Crusade Force Organisation chart. So this does not replace any other optional detachments in that Force Organisation chart. So no, a Titan is always an optional allied force. So yeah, I maintain the best way to run a Titan Legion is to attach it as an allied detachment to an Imperial Knight Force, just so you can basically play Titanicus. And I've just spied something on my desk, which I feel like we absolutely need to put on one of these minis. Trying to work out where. And I'm not sure if you guys will be able to see that well, but it is a Dong relic from the Chapter Master Varak mini. Oh, sorry, a bone relic. Definitely not a an adult toy. I should definitely put this on one of these minis, shouldn't I? It'd be rude not to. I don't even know how this got on my desk, to be honest. I think I have the perfect place for it. So there we go. A relic of Valrak is now attached to the Death Guard Praetor. And welcome back, Connor. Hope you're doing alright. Okay, not really sure what else to do now, lads. Because I think that is both minis basically done now. Oh, you know what we can do. Is we can help this tube here. Attach better to the canister. In. I just posted a picture, or posted my grey. I need to slay. You know what I find useful about taking pics of works in progress? You often take a pic, looking at them, find something you forgot to do. Yeah. Yeah, that is a thing. And thankfully, one of the things I haven't run into yet is, I think it's mostly just because the camera just takes so long to autofocus, is you guys haven't picked up on any details of things that I've missed working on these minis. Just had a brief moment of panic there because I noticed it had switched over to a new playlist of music, and I didn't recognise the background art, and I thought maybe it actually started playing some potentially copyrighted material. But thankfully not. And Tuppy is still live. Yes, I am, Ghosty. So yeah, luckily for you guys. Yeah, mini putt takes a while to dry. And Wolf says, I would have liked to have been around when you could play anything. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, strictly speaking, I can on Twitch, but as I'm multi-streaming to both Twitch and YouTube, I absolutely cannot. I've already had my first copyright strike, and that was for playing the trailer for the Escher jet bikes. The music used in that was copyrighted, and yeah, I got in trouble for that. So yeah, thanks YouTube, you are a wonderful platform. And yeah, I can distinctly remember sending Bear a video on one of his first live streams of some mad lad riding a unicycle playing a Star Wars theme on tune on bagpipes, immediate copyright strike. Yeah. YouTube is just not fun. It sucks. And you can't fight it for fair use. I mean, potentially I could, but considering I'm a nobody channel with what, 50 or 60 subscribers, no I can't. So what I had to do was just mute that entire segment of the stream. So if you're ever watching back through my streams on YouTube, that's why that section is muted. And Ghosty says, I played so much stuff on Twitch streams and never got a strike or even a warning. Twitch is way more relaxed or just doesn't enforce. Yeah. It is also how I've got Streamlabs set up, so no matter what, I am always streaming to Twitch, but it's entirely optional if I want to stream to YouTube or not. Because there is some content, and now I know that Armour definitely streams, but I'll be streaming only to Twitch and it will not be going on YouTube. And yeah, for more fun things, especially if I want to play games like Beat Saber, because I really do enjoy playing Beat Saber, and I think you guys would find it funny watching me struggle in that game. Yeah, there's certain stuff which I really want to do which will just have to be Twitch only. Because just how aggressive YouTube is. And yeah, I think, whilst I don't really like to leave on a negative note, I think I am going to wrap up the stream there, lads. We've done all the green stuff, the milliput green stuffing on these guys. They're both done. I'll put some pictures on the Discord server. And yeah, as always, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to join in with community and talk more, put !Discord in chat. If you want to support me like the wonderful people like Lord Nelson and D'Artagnan, you can always support me over on Ko-fi. And yeah, if you want to support me on a more regular basis, you can also support me on Patreon, which will get you extra access to stuff on Discord, as well as give you special titles on Discord. And yeah, if you're on Twitch or YouTube and you're curious about checking out the community on either of them, you can put !YouTube or Twitch into the chat to find your way over there. And if you missed any of this, all streams are uploaded onto YouTube after they've finished. So if you missed anything, you can always go back and watch it there. So good night everyone, and I will catch you tomorrow.